Welcome to the Popcorn Talk Network. For the online broadcast network that features movie discussion, news, and interviews, press 1. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies.
From the Popcorn Talk Network, the online broadcast network for movie talk, this is Otaku Movie Anatomy, breaking down and reviewing some of the best and worst in the animated film genre. Is its power level over 9,000, or is it just another Yamcha? Find out now on Otaku Movie Anatomy!
Oh, man.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Oh, no song. No song.
No song. Welcome back
song.
to Otaku Movie Anatomy, where we discuss anime movies. I am your host, Yume Ninja, and I am here with...
Of course, you are always here with Jonathan Mesa. You can find me at KaibaCat. That's at KaibaCat.
Well, not all the time with Jonathan Meza. Sometimes Jonathan Meza has to go somewhere.
That's
for
true.
a
Yeah,
month.
we got things
But
to
me
do.
and Yume just came back from Japan, so we were gone for a while. I am Chubby Bunny Michelle. You can find me at I am Chubby Bunny.
And today we have a special guest, Erica Lindbeck.
Hey!
Yes, my name is Erica Lindbeck, and you can find me at Erica Lindbeck
Well,
on
that was
Twitter.
complicated. Yeah.
Yeah, super complicated. So Erica is a voice actress. What roles have you done?
Well, most recently, I play Kaori Miyazono in Your Lie in April, which just came out. It just dropped on Netflix a couple days ago, unexpectedly. Like, no one told me. It was very exciting. I play Ellie Ayase in Love Live. And so I think that's coming out in... Oh, no, it's already been released. Yeah, it's released on Valentine's Day.
Yay.
And I also do the voice of Barbie. And
This is the voice of Barbie. Can we hear Barbie?
Hi, I'm Barbie.
Oh my god, it's so scary.
Hi.
Wait, isn't it not just in the movies? It's also like the toys when they talk?
I did the Barbie doll. The Hello
Whoa,
Barbie.
which is
Yeah.
Insane, by the way.
Yeah,
Get
it's
your kids
crazy.
to have her autograph.
Yeah, if you want to talk to me for a few hours. But my first Barbie movie came out, I think, a few days ago, or maybe it's officially. No, I think it's definitely available for sale. But Barbie Spy Squad.
Spy Squad?
Spy Squad.
Oh, I was like, she has a Spy Squad? That's awesome. I mean, Spy Squad's alright.
Yeah. But yeah, I do a lot of video game work and commercials and things like that. But those are my main three things that I think are most recent. I was in Sword Art
Capellion is
Online.
cool. Capellion's cool.
Capellion, I played Ibarra Naruse in Capellion. That was my first ever role in anything voiceover, which is really cool.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
All right.
Very
Well,
accomplished
today...
lady.
And you're a big fan of Psychopaths, so that's
Yes.
perfect.
I am.
And that's why she's big.
Today we are
Yes.
talking about Psychopaths, the movie. Just a quick thank you to Funimation who invited us to the
Yes.
premiere on Monday night,
Yes.
and that was for the English dub. They're having a very limited 2-day screening of the movie in limited theaters. I don't know which states.
I don't know.
Look on the internet.
Yeah,
You'll
look
find
on the
information
internet.
there.
Yeah, go on Psychopaths.
Use the Google.
Yeah.
But
If you
it's-
want it badly enough, you will find it.
Yeah, no, it's just a click away.
You'd be surprised how lazy people are, though. They're
Yeah.
always-
It's true.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
But it is March 15th and 16th only, so get on that if you guys want to go see
Get it.
Psychopaths.
Get your psychopaths on.
So, a little background about this movie. Psychopaths is obviously an anime series that was from Production IG, I believe, and it was actually the brainchild of people from Production IG who wanted to kind of pick up the mantle from Mamoru Oshii. Because if you don't know, he's done Ghost in the Shell and all these other sort of dystopian philosophical anime. The Psychopaths series ran for 2 seasons, and the movie directly follows it 4 years after.
Yes.
So this is from the Wikipedia.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have to say that on camera.
Oh, wait,
You can
look,
pretend like you did
is that us? Is that us right there? Oh, that's us at the
yeah.
Psychopaths.
Yeah,
at the
that's us
Funimation.
from-
At the Psychopath.
At the Psychopaths. That's
Yeah.
what we do.
The Psychopath
We're at the
there.
Psychopaths.
There's
even
Max.
have that
Max
picture.
is actually sick today, so
Yeah.
he couldn't make
Yeah.
it.
And then there's Emma, too. Yeah, we had the
yeah.
whole crew. We had the entire Otaku Movie Anatomy
There's
crew there.
Yume's fiance. I want to say
Oh,
online.
yeah.
The guy in the weird mask.
The guy in the back there.
Can't see. Sephiroth in the background.
Oh, yeah. Hey, guys, you should. This is a note while Yume was in Japan,
yeah,
she
that's right,
got
new news.
engaged.
Yes.
Yay!
So if you guys are joining us in the chat, you're watching this later, Yume is now off the market completely. Sorry.
Dang it, that's the only reason I came.
Well, it's been nice having you,
I thought
Erica.
she was still on the market. Like a piece of meat. Dang it.
All right, back to Psychopaths.
I know, she's just like, enough, you're
Yeah, I
embarrassing
know,
me.
enough. You guys are embarrassing me. So, Psychopaths is a science fiction crime anime set in a dystopian Tokyo in the year 2113, where the Sibyl System actively monitors the population's mental state to estimate their probability of engaging in committing crimes. Like I said,
Basically, Minority Report, but
Yeah.
instead of people in weird water, it's a gun and a.
Yeah, it's called a Dominator, the gun.
Yeah, the,
Well, I
the
guess
gun
other
is so
things-
cool.
Other things can like check your shit.
Yeah,
They check your psychopath.
there's a movie. It's with Ethan Hawke,
points.
and I can't quite remember the name. It's a single word, and it's with Ethan Hawke, and it's when you're born. They can
Gattaca.
already Gattaca. Thank you. And this is it's very Gattaca in that aspect because
Yeah.
like the Sibyl System like knows you and knows what your capabilities
Yeah.
are, and so yeah, it's very Gattaca.
it's very like Minority Report meets Gattaca.
Gattaca.
And what you sort of learn in the first, the first season, honestly, I'm just like a huge Shinya Kogami fangirl, so I kind of stopped watching after the first season because Kogami leaves.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but like
Spoilers.
it's been years.
He
Come on.
doesn't die.
No. He doesn't die. Well, as you can see in the poster
movie,
for the
yeah.
movie.
I mean, the poster spoiled it.
Yeah. But what you learn is sort of when you have a system like that where you literally cannot even intervene if you use your Dominator on someone, the Sibyl System determines if you can or cannot shoot the person based on their psychopaths. Now, that obviously, I think the main issue with the first two seasons, the issue is that they oh my gosh, I just completely blanked. That can be corrupt. You know what I mean? Because you can't make any decisions on who you're killing or whatever. So if somebody in power has a really bad psychopath or a really high psychopath, might be able to manipulate.
They also
you
point
know?
out in literally the first episode of season 1 that
Yeah.
if you are in a state of distress,
Your
and
psychopath
you're
goes
scared of
up,
someone,
yeah.
then your psychopath goes
Yeah.
up and you can be killed. So I'm like, there's this huge problem with the system.
Yeah.
Immediately they show you.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're like the Sibyl System. It's flawless. Bullshit.
Minus this one giant problem we reveal.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Sibyl System is also like a hive mind, which is very similar to Minority Report. The three
Bunch of
people in
floating
pools.
brains.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you
But
said,
they're not pools. They're floating.
They're kind of brains that go
air.
up and down and
Yeah.
get moved around. I
Like,
think they were trying to
like-
make it look cool.
You know what? It's literally a think tank.
Yeah.
Oh my
Thank you
gosh,
very
the
much.
reason why I thought
Aren't
it
you
was
guys
just
glad
air.
you're back?
No, they're just like in little cubes, and then like
You know what?
They move
in the
them.
movie, I think they changed the way it looked, but it reminded me of like Kang from Turtles.
Oh, Ninja Turtles, Krang. Yeah. Krang.
Oh
yeah.
God,
That's
someone's
awesome.
gonna murder me online.
I was gonna say I've auditioned for April O'Neil so many times. I'm like the Krang, yes, the Krang. Like I'm not even a huge.
How many
So
times
in
have you
this
said that?
movie,
Yeah.
it's about this guy named Krang,
Yes,
and
yes,
he's got a
clearly.
gun and he's doing some bad stuff.
Yeah.
It's about a bunch of crangs.
A bunch of Krang.
That are controlling the populace.
Yes.
All right. So back to the stats. The movie was actually the Japanese language movie was actually released in January of last year, and was shown in over 100 Japanese theaters, which
is
is a
insane.
big fucking deal.
For an anime movie, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's more than 5, which is what they usually do.
It was written
Depends
by Gen Urobuchi, who also wrote the original series, and was done by almost the same exact team. The movie grossed over 1.3 billion yen, which is equal to 11.4 million US dollars, which is a lot of money for
That's
anime.
pretty big. It's pretty big.
No
for
Love
anime.
Live though, guys.
I was about
No
to say,
Naruto.
the Love Life movie did really well too.
It's insane.
We dubbed
Yeah.
it. It's coming out.
Yes, we're gonna try to review that in next time.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, nice.
A couple of,
In
like
a
in
couple
a
weeks,
month.
In a month.
Yeah, 'cause we
Sweet.
can't get our hands on it right now.
Yes.
So after
Yeah.
that,
So, anyways.
we keep bringing it back to Love Live. Like we're trying to talk about
That's
that.
right.
All right.
Yeah. I love Love.
So the basic synopsis gist of this is it's 4 years after, so it's 2116. That's 3 years after. Okay, Wikipedia. So after the death of Shogo Makishima,
Yes.
Akane Tsunemori is sent to the SEAUn, which is the Southeast Asian Union, which they don't actually, like, it doesn't make any sense.
So the
'cause
Southeast
Yeah.
Asian Union shortened with the first letter, you know?
it's
Oh, interesting.
SEAUn.
When I watched the movie, I was like, are they trying to say Siam, but they're saying it wrong? Wait, why does this look like Cambodia? I'm very confused.
They were just saying Cien, right? Were
They're trying to
Sian,
say,
yeah.
they're trying to say, what was it, the Southeast Asian
Yeah,
Union.
yeah.
But they never told anyone in the, like, they didn't tell the audience,
Yeah.
this is what this is.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
what we're calling this country now.
So what should have happened is there should have been like a
of paper.
ticker at the bottom that
Yeah.
said Southeast Asian Union, like
dot,
SEAUn.
yes. You know, like everyone knows that CHIEL
Yeah.
stands for something else.
Yeah,
But-
use your lower thirds. Use your lower thirds.
But she ends up traveling traveling to fake Cambodia, which is now called the floating Shambala.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
only
so
that
you
floating
guys
part
know.
is floating Shambhala.
Yeah,
that's
the part that
Only
looks
that little
exactly
part.
like
Shambala
Cambodia.
Float.
Shambala Float.
Shambala
yeah.
Float. Now, there's some of these names in this are going to be...
Which
like, guys,
sounds like an ice cream float,
Yeah,
to be
it
honest
does.
with you. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, yummy. Oh, no. Those were my exact thoughts.
So my thing is that when they show Shambala Float, there's like a lot of color, and I was like, is this a parade? Is that why it's a float? Because I was like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah, like a parade float. I love that.
But yeah, so some
English.
shit happens. There are some terrorist cells, and they find out that Kogami is involved in this. So she goes over to Shambhala Float, and a whole bunch of shit happens. That is the
There you
gist
go.
of the plot.
That's the movie.
You know,
Goodbye.
I love that we could really like boil down most shows into a bunch of shit happens.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of
True.
Yeah.
True.
The honest truth is, a lot of meetings happen.
A lot of
Yes,
meetings.
there's
Okay.
a lot of
We're gonna get to
talking.
that. We're gonna get to that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Ghost in the Shell. I mean, it's got that very reminiscent Ghost in the
Yes.
Shell style, and Michelle always has a wonderful thing she likes to bring up because she even brought it up about Redline, about the excessive amount of meetings
Yeah.
in Redline. But then, of course, then we had Ghost in the Shell, which is an even more excessive amount
There's
of
so
meetings.
more meetings.
Yeah, and then we move on to Psychopaths, which is just the movie of meetings.
Yes.
Like
There's a lot
there's
of
a lot
meetings.
of meetings.
Shall I go right into the meetings?
Yes,
Hit
let's
it,
go right
hit it.
now to the
Let's-
meetings.
Oh, yes, this is a meeting of the minds.
So, well,
Let's do it.
what I'm supposed to be talking about is the kind of the plot, the storytelling and the methodology they use to convey the story and move the plot forward. They really like having meetings. Outside of the meetings, every time they did a scene change, I noticed that movie's pace picked up a lot. For example, when they open on Xi'an, the Southeast Asian Union, it's you get this immediate emotional response because you see a lot of color, but then you zoom in and you see the things hanging from the streets are dead people. There are people hung in the street.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's all these refugees trying to get into the actual float, which is like off the island.
Yeah, you kind of know something's up.
Yeah.
You know.
And they start showing people wearing colors that
Yeah.
are like battle royale. If you hear bad,
Yeah.
you're gonna die. So you have this immediate emotional response, and they start talking about why is it like this, and you're like, okay, cool, and you pretty much get it in like 2 minutes. Then they keep talking about it, and they have a meeting about it, and then it's literally the same information they're pounding into you over and over again.
Yeah.
They did not edit down this movie at all.
No.
There's so much like people actually sitting at desks being like, no, Akane, you must not do that. You should do this. But why? I don't want to do that. Let me explain it one more time. and then they flash back to the meeting. It's insane. There's so much of it. But in one way they try to. There was this long ass meeting she has with what's his name? With the lady Chief Kase.
Yeah, Chief Kase.
And then
yeah.
after that, she has a meeting with Saiga, who was Kogami's teacher back in the day. You meet him in season 1 briefly. And so she has these. It's maybe like 20. It's not 20 minutes. It's like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Those both meetings in mind. She gets on a plane, and because they still want to keep talking for those meetings, she flashes back to those meetings.
Oh my gosh,
And then,
yeah.
then she
Oh,
imagines
yeah.
the characters physically sitting with her on the empty plane,
Having a
still
meeting.
having
Having
the
a
same
meeting.
meeting in the same conversation. It drove me. It was pretty like. It showed some velocity with the conversation being like, oh, what we're talking about is now becoming reality. But oh my god, we could have gotten that with just her getting on a plane. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, the movie itself is very telling in
Yeah.
terms of that. It's always telling you as opposed to just sort of letting things sort of play out and show
Yeah.
you. And that's the thing that I tend to have a lot of issue with. So there's a lot of telling in this movie, a lot of exposition. Like, I mean, there were a couple times I was in the theater and I just like leaned over to him and I was like, exposition.
Yes.
Like, there's a lot of exposition.
Yeah.
However, I will say this, when it got to the action,
So good.
it was incredible.
It was
Oh my gosh!
incredible.
You know, I mean,
Yes.
this isn't a spoiler, but when Akane
We could
and
spoil anything
Shinya
in here. We
meet
could spoil
again
it.
for the first time, it's amazing. Like the build up because we got all this exposition, which
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times you can't avoid with a movie because I think they're trying to be standalone because there are 2 seasons of tension that you watch before this movie happens, you know. And I think I noticed people who hadn't seen the movie yet or hadn't seen the 2 seasons were really confused. But I was sitting there like, yes, Akane, Shinya, yes, like now kiss, you know, like yeah, that's how I
I think
felt.
the biggest problem that we always encounter with anime movies, and this show especially since we've gone over so many of them, is that you have to treat anime movies like anime movies. You have to treat them like, hey, there's all this extra backstory, so that they decide to tell the story in the movie the same way they've been telling in the anime. Slowly, artificially, slowly, big climax, talk about it some more, one more climax. You think the movie's done, but it keeps going.
Yeah.
This happens in
Yeah.
many, many movies
Yeah.
we've covered.
That's why so many of them are so long.
But we're also
Yeah.
coming from a Western perspective. Plenty of animated movies that are standalone by itself and have all this extra baggage, so it's told in a certain kind of way. So I think why we find a lot of fault with plot is perhaps cultural.
That's a good point. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys have actually seen this, you know, go ahead and let us know what you thought about it, because you know this was a tough one. I felt like this was a tough one.
Your wife is online. She
was my
says,
wife there?
"Hi guys."
Oh, hi, love. Hey. I love that she's always watching our episodes now. She has
Always
no idea
watching.
what we're talking about because she has not seen Psychopath. She's like, right now, she's like, what is happening with this?
He's just here for the F-bombs that I'm going to drop.
Yes, and it's going to happen.
They're gonna be F-bombs.
Yeah, so, I mean, some of the things to really take away from this movie, I mean, because I had not seen Psychopaths prior to this, but I jumped right in just fine. I'm granted, I didn't.
that's good.
I didn't understand, obviously, the tension and the characters and where they came from, because that's where you get to watch. It's like, Erica is like a huge fan of this and saw this and was just like, like, you know, like fangirling it out when you get walking, because you're
I
like,
was so excited.
Exactly.
I was also, as a voice actor, really focused on the VO.
Oh,
so honestly,
we're
you
gonna
know,
get into that in a second.
Well, it's well, it's funny. Yeah. Anyway, keep going.
All right, so I really wanted to talk about these good qualities of it. It was the animation. The animation was stunning. It was a great looking film.
Shinya's abs are beautiful.
He like doesn't wear a shirt for the last half of the movie. He puts something kind of on, but does not button down.
For the ladies, it is not. No, the series. Are you kidding me? There are like the
series.
upshots of him when he's wearing the black shirt. Like what? Yes.
Like it's only tight around.
I know. It's like
Honestly, he did. It was only tight around his abs.
Like,
It was
they-
like
they-
abs,
they
abs,
cut
abs,
it-
shirt.
They cut it like this.
it was.
So, tidbit about this series, when I was reading up on it as I was marathoning the entire 2 seasons, they actually wanted to focus a lot on the relationship of the characters and the kind of hub before Kogami leaves. And so they avoided sexualizing Akane at all in the series. You never see her with her top off.
They sexualize him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh wait, they
he's
do.
always-
They give her a shower scene.
but only in the movie, which upset me.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah. Trope.
But in the series, Kogami is shirtless most of the time, and so is Makishima. They are
I didn't even
hypersexualized.
think about that. I don't even think about those things, but he really is.
He
I'm
is.
always really naive. I'm like, oh, they just did that. No, they didn't. In this movie, I was like, no.
They planned all of
Yeah,
it.
so Production IG was like, oh, well, we might alienate the female fan base because this is very dark and gory. But then they ended up getting a whole bunch of Fujoshi and BL lovers because of the hypersexual tension between Makishima and Kogami and them being naked half of the time.
I feel like that's by design.
Yeah. Yeah. Bishi boys, they always win. Bishi boys are amazing.
Fujoshi for life.
Yeah, but the animation, like, it was
Beautiful.
It was beautiful, and it's what you expect exactly from Production IG. This is what they're good at. The fight scenes between Akane and Kogami, right when they meet, like it's
so good.
amazing.
Yeah, the action. I mean, when you have animation that's so strong, a lot of the times you'll see, like in Naruto, you see like when they get into like battle, like you're like, damn, the animation dropped off. Like what happened? And in this, the animation was like
It picked up,
100% all the way.
it
Yeah,
just-
it picked up. It got better
got so
because
good.
with the movement and the action that was happening, it's like they really took all the time to finite all the details. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
And this was a very cinematic kind of anime. Like it felt like watching a movie at times where it's like the camera is shooting through like grates, and you're seeing the action on the other side through grates, which is giving you sort of this texture of the scene. It was really smart the way they animated this film. I
And
was very happy
it's
with
because
that.
they were they were just kind of trying to do what Mamoroshi's known for, and it's, visuals first. There's a lot of philosophy in the storytelling, and it's usually dark, and storytelling usually kind of drops off, like it did for Ghost in the Shell.
So, like, we don't have time to explain the plot to you. You figure that out later.
It's all visual, and I get it. Like, I love the animation in this, even in the series. Like, sometimes in the series, it gets shipped off to like somewhere into
really
SEAUn,
liked,
and it gets really bad.
Speaking of shipping, I think you're shipping, like, who are you shipping here?
Oh, me and
Yeah,
Shinya,
yeah,
obviously. I feel like I'm missing out on something because a lot of, as you said, like Makishima X, Shinya, but I was always like me and him. Obviously, it's like me. No, it's not. No.
Because there's just scenes in the show where he's just like, I'm gonna box with this thing nude,
Right?
And like I'm gonna take a shower, and but like I looked it up, and there is a shit ton of like BL fan art between.
Of course there is.
it's
Oh my
just-
god.
What
What
is
is
BL?
even heaven? You went
Boys love.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. Because I'm trying to find, Shinya X Akane. Well, I'm trying to find Shinya X.
I mean, there is that, but-
Shinya and Akane, and there's like barely any. It's
Yeah.
all. It's like Yeah, it's like Kakashi from Naruto. He's my ultimate waifu forever. Except Shinya. Shinya might be edging in. I'm not sure. Maybe Archer from Fate too. Archer or Lancer.
That's
Oh god, there's so many.
That's Keiji.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's weird. Keiji and I are friends, and sometimes he answers the phone and he's like, "Master," and I'm like, "What? Oh my god, Keiji, stop it!" but yeah, I'm trying to find the art, and there's no. It's all like Iruka and Kakashi, and I'm like, "No, why?"
Who wants to see Iruka?
I mean, everyone, but I don't know.
I mean, we all know it's Kakashi and Guy.
It's Iruka.
Oh my gosh, I know the word Iruka.
Iruka.
No.
I say it the way the only.
If you guys ever want to pronounce something, just hit me up on Twitter. I'll do a little
Yeah.
recording and send you a link. It's
We will send it to you
I'm
phonetically.
so redonk sad about how people can't Google how to say people's names.
Or if you want, you can just watch the show. I'll say it wrong, and then
And
she'll
then we'll
correct
correct
me.
them,
And
yeah.
yes, and then exactly. Yeah, you and Michelle will
well,
correct
I'm
me. And
not
then
a
you'll know.
voice actor, but I know some voice actors can't listen to things and say them.
Well, okay.
Well, they're
Here we
directing.
go.
Yeah, in my
We're doing it.
defense,
Let's go into
Yeah.
it.
What happens is, this is what happens. I've done enough anime shows. Sometimes I know how it's pronounced. I'll say, hey, you do at the beginning of a series, you go, yo, we tap in ours? What are we doing here? Like, let's, lay this out. And sometimes I get the wrong, not wrong, but sometimes they say, do it like this. And we're just the messengers. We are never responsible for how something's
So
pronounced.
it's very good to hear it from her side because
Yeah.
my biggest beef, and I think Michelle
Here
can
we
decide
go.
with it. My biggest beef with this movie is how they fucking pronounce everybody's name.
F-bomb.
Like
Are you a main character? We're gonna fuck
yeah,
up your
Is
name.
my
F-bomb.
name Akane Tsunemori? I'm gonna pronounce it Akane Tsunemori, and I'm just like, no.
Like the K turned to a G a lot.
A
and
Z's.
Oh god.
You could hear the audience collectively groaning,
Yes.
or laughing.
Yeah, when we went to
there was a
the
lot of
premiere,
laughing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like usually we get to experience anime in
Yeah.
the comfort of our own home, and maybe you think to yourself, I don't know, am I just being picky? But it was like a collective. People.
It was very collective.
There was some point someone said Gunoza's name like. It
Ginoza,
sounded.
yeah.
It sounded like coconut. It was like Ginoza, or like the T with the Z was
Coconut.
too hard, and I was like losing it, and I felt
Yeah.
bad for that girl in front of me who got mad at me for laughing too loud. But
It was in the theater. There was blatant laughing at some of the pronunciation of
Yeah.
the names, but this was the biggest thing about the voice acting in this. And granted, I was not a fan of Akane, the voice actress there, and much love, but it was not great. But right off the bat, from the first line of the film, when they're like clicking, and then he shoots and blows up the tanks, and the line that was delivered by the character, I immediately after one line said, this is going to be a poorly directed anime. And I felt this was, I'm sorry, but it was the direction, and I could feel it. And all the characters in the delivery, it felt lazy. I felt like whoever was directing this wasn't pulling from the actors what it needed to happen.
Yeah.
So that's I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I just got to call it like it is. Funimation,
Yeah.
thank you so much for having us at all these
Yeah.
wonderful screenings. That was my biggest gripe with the whole film.
Like me, like it's like what Erica pointed out, like like Kakashi, like I know that Naruto. Like I say Naruto because that's the way it is, but I get that people say Naruto. Like that.
Oh,
doesn't-
now that's
Yeah.
ridiculous.
say-
Naruto.
I say it sometimes.
Naruto.
It slips up.
That one makes me.
Or like,
Are we watching Naruto for today, guys?
Yeah, I know.
but it's like I think where the movie went with the pronunciation was beyond what I could even take.
it was just that it was so distracting.
Yeah.
And good lord, because I did watch it subbed when I
Yeah.
watched the series, so I was like they were saying Shinya's last name, which is
Kogami.
Kogami, but they say Kogami.
they say
Yeah.
Kogami.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is Kogami?
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out
I
what they're
couldn't
talking
figure it
about,
out.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh. This character that was in the entire first season that was a main character, they're fucking up his name. And like even I think there's a time when they're saying their own name, and I'm like, why are you
Yeah.
saying your own name wrong?
That-
And I get that they're it's definitely like a direction thing. And Erica mentioned before that sometimes, and I feel like this is an older, like I didn't think this still happened, but they're like, we should put an American pronunciation on this name.
Well,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's easier just because we saying, for example, Kakashi instead of Kakashi.
Yeah.
No, we don't have words that are pronounced that way. We're sort of split. Like the emphasis is split. Kakashi. We just don't. It would be really difficult for people to pronounce that. So I think that they said, okay, we'll make it Kakashi.
Yeah.
You know.
So I think
But
it's
on
kind
the-
of it's two sides
Yeah.
of the coin.
And yeah,
It makes
exactly.
sense.
Yeah.
What you're saying totally makes
I mean,
sense.
I
and
wish
can see-
it was, of course, I wish all of them were pronounced absolutely the right way,
Yeah.
or the correct way.
But on the other hand, so my original last name, I changed it when I got married, is Nguyen. And I constantly, growing up, had people saying to me, they'd be like, what's your name? I'm like, Michelle Wynn. They're like, how do you spell your last name? And I'd spell it. They'd say, no, it's not. It's Nagayan because this other person I know says it that way.
Yeah, no, it's
and I'm
not.
like, so you're gonna tell me how my own ethnicity is totally different than yours. I'm saying my name wrong. Okay, so to me, I think it hits like a sore spot. It's
Of course, yeah, absolutely.
It's an ethnicity and a kind of name from a different language, and it's a name. It's a name. It's not like the word I was saying for people say sake, and that's kind of okay, like sake, the drink.
Yeah.
But when it's someone's name, like it's who they are, I feel that's a little rough.
Yeah, it's like I agree. Like you. Like, even like my name, like some people call me Yumi and it's actually Yume. And like, I kind of am like, okay, whatever, just say it however is easiest for you. But it's like, but that's my name. Like, you can't decide to change the pronunciation of my name. It's like the example I was giving when I was discussing this at work. It's just like, if you meet somebody named Brian, and I'm like, nah, I'm gonna call you Brian. Your name's Brian. I'm gonna call you Brian the entire time. And it's just like that guy from Parks and Rec.
Hey, you arrogant dick. You don't get to change my name because you feel like it.
Because I feel like on the flip side, if you were doing that to an English name, people would be like, that's really jarring.
Yeah, but to be fair though, you know, when I go places like Italy, Erica.
Yeah.
I don't go F you, it's Erica. Do you know what I mean? So like this happens because, you know, I think because English is a major language. I think we go like America, bleh. But you know, like I don't go to different countries and they're like, you know, someone's like, Erica, and I go Erica. It's Erica. You know, I don't do that. So you know, on the other side, but I
definitely see a split. Like I almost think it's 50, even though I like emotionally connected to like names and how they're supposed to be pronounced. Like, but I'm also kind of a nerd too, and I'm like, it should be like the original.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But I totally see your point. And then there's a whole other issue of like, you know, what are we striving for in directing and translating this Japanese content into English? And then what's the point of it?
We are really going deep in like what's PC and what's right. Like this is what's happening tonight. Like I just like I don't say Donald Trump, I say Donald Drumpf, and like you know
that's
so
his fucking name.
And like you're offending him and you should leave.
Yeah,
right now.
But I mean, I also feel like this is something that comes up in a lot of like subs versus dubs. You know, like if I like I said, like I feel like it should be close, but like the whole like pronouncing like Erica, like okay, I get it, it's close enough. But if they were going like Eureka, you'd be like,
what are you doing? Yeah.
They're like, no, you're.
But you know, other
Erica,
countries say Erica, and I'm like, it's Erica. Like the I is just it's just a different tap. I do think though that with how big the anime market is here, that we should be trying.
We should strive to be better, y'all.
Yeah, I think we can do better. We don't have to be perfect, and we don't have to say it in the correct. It's like I was watching some video about like hamburger. You know, like we say hamburger, but in Japan it's hamburger. You know, like I get it, but you should try to be very close.
Yeah.
As you can tell, this is. It means a lot.
Yeah,
it means a lot.
Yeah.
And, you know, I have a friend. One of my closest friends. He's Taiwanese, and his name is Thomas Young. And everywhere that he goes, they say Yang. It actually really upsets him. It's a similar thing. Like he talks, and whenever he watches movies where there's, you know, it's Asian names and things, he always gets so mad at the way, you know, the culture is treated, you know, and the way they sort of disrespect that. And he's really passionate about it. So I definitely see that.
This is an issue with many sides of a coin.
It really is.
You know what could have fixed all this? A better Sibyl System. I feel like the Sibyl System really...
Our dominators could judge people.
I love they named the gun... by the way, just getting back into the series.
Let's talk about...
They named the gun a Dominator. It's like, that's like the coolest fucking name for a gun. I really like that.
And this gun was one of the coolest things, I think, guns I've seen in an anime.
Yes.
It was designed so that it shapeshifts into different types of guns.
Someone has a real Dominator. There's a real Dominator.
Yeah, they made one. They made one.
Yeah, I want to see it.
So like so you could shoot a type of bullet, but then all of a sudden it could shapeshift and shoot like an exploding thing, and it could and it shapeshifts. And then when you shoot someone with like a straight Dominator bullet, they go Akira style. They go like bubble.
Akira, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Akira.
see?
They go Akira.
Yeah.
So but I will always try. They will go Akira style, and they will go all like bubble explosion.
Yeah.
It was nasty and awesome.
That was
I really
great,
dug the Dominators.
I think that was a great choice.
The scene was so creepy and good.
Yeah. Oh man, the Dominators is awesome.
Yeah, I think in general, like this series has like because it's production ID, the character like the character design, the world design, like all the props and stuff, even the colors, like everything's chosen in such a great way. Like, you'll notice, like, in Tokyo, because they are part of the Sibyl System, everything is, like, devoid of color. The only real colors they use are blue and red. Then you go into, like, SEAUn, like, you have the actual floating city, which is mostly gray except for the dead bodies, and then right outside of it, it's super colorful because it hasn't really been touched by Sibyl.
It has feelings, though.
It had so many layers, guys.
They drew that beautifully. There were so many layers of... so basically, the gorilla... force is staying in this beautiful old temple, like these ruins.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a scene where what's happening? Shinya and Akane are talking, and then suddenly they get attacked, but it's from pretty far away. So they look out into the horizon as the sun is setting, and you see explosions. And it was like the most beautiful explosion thing I've ever seen. It was like two little puffs, and it was so like perfectly. Yeah. It was like a romantic explosion. I don't know how to describe it.
It should have been, yes.
And then, like, it's like all the colors were very warm and inviting versus everything that has been, kind of turned into the, like, that is under the command of the Sibyl System is very cold. Yeah. And I was like, I see what you did there, Production IG. Yeah. Good job.
There's also something I don't want to forget, because it was one of the funnier parts and also cooler parts was, there's a group of mercenaries that are hired in this film to kill
Oh my god, they're the
Akane.
best. This is the first time we're seeing them ever, right?
I love them.
Yeah. And
they were the best mercenaries.
Yeah, they were like, it was so funny. Like, they were awesome. They were super badass and powerful, and at the same time so silly, because they looked like the Mortal Kombat crew.
They did.
It was like Jax. Like Jax was like the lead guy was this black guy with like a robotic arm and a robotic leg. So instead of two arms, it was one arm, one leg. He looked like Jax.
Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
and then there was like a girl with him who was like Sonya, and then they had like a guy that was like Johnny Cage.
Yes.
And I was like,
gosh,
oh
I
my
love
gosh.
that.
Yeah, it was like the Mortal Kombat crew.
And they were hanging out on a temple, much like the Mortal Kombat.
Yes.
I would love to cover that. That has nothing to do with anime, unfortunately.
But totally awesome. They were definitely some of the cooler characters. Well, I mean, actually, the characters in this are actually really cool outside of Akane, I think. But like, there's some really great characters, and those darn mercenaries were awesome.
Who was the girl? Had a name. Hold on. Yoya was her name.
Yep.
Which one was
and she was the blonde one with the
blonde one.
enormous tits.
Oh yeah.
And it was funny because like you meet her and they're like on an island. So she's wearing just oh my gosh, just nothing.
I was expecting her to sound like grenade. They're dealt with or whatever.
Yeah.
And she was like, we did it. That was weird. I was like, whoa. I mean, interesting choice. I mean, she only had a few lines to be fair, but I did think that was a really intriguing choice.
I thought that was weird too.
I was expecting, some, sexy lady. And then it was like, hi, hello.
I like that her battle outfit also was just like, I'm going to keep this whole area where my heart is totally open and shrapnel and
because your boobs are
protected. That's that fan
it's functional.
service.
Yeah, and my forearms were like hella covered.
Since we're already talking about it, favorite characters or moments from this series.
Oh my gosh.
You want to go first, Erica?
Sure. Every scene with Shinya and Akane, for sure. Well, because, so the tension, the thing that I think is really interesting about anime is you can sort of infer a lot from what happens. There's very rarely actual sex going on in anime. But there's always there's tension. And this I wasn't super happy with the ending, just from a fangirl perspective. But there is no doubt what's going on, really. After watching this movie, what's going on between Akane and Shinya. You know what I mean?
That was it. That was your moment right there.
That was your moment.
When you had that confirmation, you're like, it's on. Like,
I
well, no, not that. Just that it's there. I guess it really there was probably confirmation way before, but when I watched it, I was satisfied in that way that they honored like their relationship. And actually, I mean, when I see characters, I say, oh, how would I have done that? Like, how would I have done that? If I had to say anything note-wise, I mean, because of course, I've been doing this for 2 years and I know everything, and I've never directed anime in my life. But I would have said, play up that emotional, when they're by themselves, a little bit more of that chemistry between them.
Because more action. There was action.
Yeah, it was action.
Well, yeah.
But it was, I mean.
But they didn't just tell. They made a very
happens.
Pure kind of choice for that, because they were like, they're gonna give each other looks, and that's gonna just
enough.
Just the tip, guys. Just the
tip.
Oh my god.
Just the tip. We've gone there today.
But it always leaves you wanting more.
Yeah. It felt like they were gonna be like, hey, there's gonna be a second movie, guys.
I mean, I hope a third season, and I hope that they end up.
Well, they made
together.
money enough to make a third season.
Yeah, they can do it.
All right,
Subclass is great.
Michelle, favorite characters, moments, series?
I had two good ones. I'll just pick one though. But so there's this random ass scene that there's no place in this movie at the very beginning of the movie where Akane goes wedding dress shopping with her friend Coyote.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell was that 10 minutes about?
The fact that they even brought that up, and she hugs her and goes, "I'm so excited that one of us is getting married." You're like, Shinya. Like, you did this on purpose.
I don't think there was any point to that scene, except the hilarious part to me. So she tells her, "I'm getting married." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so happy for you." Makes a very uncharacteristically smiley kind of face.
Yeah.
Scared the shit out of me.
Yeah.
And then they go wedding dress shopping. But you know how like the clothes are all just holograms?
Yeah, so it's like,
it was
why?
I was like, oh, they're holograms. She's probably just gonna flip through outfits, and she does. However, when they go in the store, there's physical clothes on the racks, and Akane's holding like clothes, like fabric. And then when they leave the store, they have bags that are big. So, how does this clothes shit work? I really want to know. It was like my favorite part because I thought about it for like way too long, and yet it had nothing to do with the rest of the movie.
The secret of the show is everyone is actually naked. Like, that's the truth of this entire movie. Everyone's naked. It's sort of like the Emperor's New Clothes.
That's the secret.
Everyone's
I'm
naked.
always
That's the
naked.
secret.
Yeah, it's all just holograms. So if like you're like, oh, that's a nice shirt, and you go to touch it, and you're like, oh, I'm touching boob. Okay, that's actually
So
good.
I'd like to maybe write a thesis on what I think how the clothing system works
Yeah.
in this world. It really
nerdy.
bothered me a lot.
Jonathan.
So Dominator, in terms of like parts that I really loved, I
Yeah.
mean the Dominator, obviously whenever that was used, especially at the first battle that happened at the beginning, and
They
the
made it fancier than usual, the
was that?
show. It was like a much fancier, but the way they took it out and the way it glowed and came apart, it was definitely different animation than they used. They weren't using stock animation.
See, I
was an
never
upgrade,
pay
huh?
attention to this stuff.
it
I'm
was
so
like
unaware.
way
That's
more
why
glowy.
Michelle and I are here
Yeah.
because we are super nitpicky.
It was like
I
super
love it,
smooth.
yeah.
They like they
They
it's
changed
Every
CG.
week.
Yeah, it was CG.
Every week,
in the first
Erica.
one in,
This is
in the series, but they changed the CG out to better stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I love the Dominator, and of course I loved the action with whenever we had our mercenaries going into battle. But the character that I really loved, I don't know how much what his storyline is obviously in the series, but in the movie you only get to see this much of him, and he's like one of those old school like kind of awesome cool, well, not old school but cool looking like gangster kids, and it's Shuisei.
Oh, do you mean the
Shusei.
guy with the red hair?
The red hair.
Yeah, okay.
Shusei.
Yeah, he was
one
great.
of the coolest looking
Yeah.
characters. Like, you know, they're all like these cool kind of like police enforcer hitman
Yeah.
guys, and they're all really cool. But they look a little more professional. And then there's this one who's just like, yo, what's up?
yeah, I
Like
love
he's
that.
like, I just roll out of bed and I don't care. I kill people. What? And he looks like that epitome of like that young Japanese gangster that you see in like films and anime, like in Final Fantasy.
The kind of like ruffian
You should see
type.
season 2.
Yeah,
He's
ruffian.
like all in that.
Yeah, he's in season 2.
Yeah, really.
That's why I don't
cool.
really know him because
Yeah.
I was like, Shinya's gone. Pff,
Yeah.
blowing this
He's
popsicle
pretty good,
stand.
actually.
Yeah.
So in terms of like design, I really, really liked him because he just seemed so different from everyone else, and so I just liked seeing him there. That was really cool.
So for me, favorite character wasn't even in this movie.
What? How does that work? We're in the movie.
Well, I mean, if we talk about people in the movie, he was barely in it. I liked Ginoza, but then I didn't like what they did to him. Because he used to be, you know, like Megane-kun. He used to have the glasses. But then now he's just like, oh, I'm just like a shitty version of my dad. you know? But from the series perspective, I think Makishima is the best. He's literally the only character that I was super invested in because he was somebody that was trying to, in the first season, he's trying to kind of break the Sibyl System, and he's like this crazy psychopathic serial killer, and he causes a lot of these murders that happen in the first season. But it's because he cannot be judged by the Dominator for some reason, and there is a system that is basically built to shut him out. So he's trying to break it, and he never like does the whole anime villain thing where, you know, like, oh, here's a blade and I'm gonna lick the blood off of it and laugh maniacally.
Yeah.
He only monologues when he wants a person to suffer at their harshest point, and he's very like intimidating and scary.
Yeah.
He's like a real killer, and I think they did him very well.
Nice.
I agree, and actually, I love his little cameo too.
Yeah.
He has a little.
Was that at the very end? Like, was that guy showed up at the end?
In
Okay.
his-
Well, because the
Mind.
relationship
Yeah.
between Shinya and Makishima is really
Yeah.
like obviously like the biggest part of season 1, and then they talk about how, you know, Shinya is kind of becoming similar almost, which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, because he's now this person that like has to exist outside the
To
system.
which he responds, "That would be annoying," which I was like, "Yes."
I have a question for you guys, since you guys watched the series as well. For anyone curious about the movie or wanted to see the movie, would you say see the show first, see the series?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
don't have any emotional feel best in any of those dudes. If you don't, you're like, why is this bitch so cold? Why is this guy running away? I don't understand why there's so many abs in this movie.
I feel like season 1, if you're gonna have to just watch one of them, watch season 1 and the movie.
I agree.
Season 1, I think, is the best written. I think it was much better written than the movie, but it does give you the most investment in Kogami and Akane.
Yeah, and it sets up everything too. Yeah. Season 2, though, you can't knock it because that's when it starts bringing in the whole, like, is like what runs the Sibyl System, and then like Akane is able to like talk to it and convince it. So she actually does this shit in the season 2 already. Like, so this isn't the first time she's talking to these bitches. Like, she's talking to her gun at the end of the movie. And I was kind of like, why are we doing this again? What's happening? Because we kind of already did that. Because at the end of the movie, how the movie climaxes is that they figure out that the not the president, prime minister, whatever it is, like executive chief dude in charge, is an android.
Is that a spoiler? Okay.
Yes.
No, we're allowed to spoil.
Oh, we're allowed.
Right,
Okay,
spoiler.
Oh, good. Oh, great. I mean, oh my gosh.
No warning. But he turns out he's an android, and the Sibyl System created him to reveal the corruption in this country, and then now we can fix it or whatever.
Yeah, Sibyl's really underhanded. Not cool, dude.
But then Akane talks to Sibyl and is like, hey, you can't do that. Humans have a history. And it was all, okay, that's fine. I get it. I get you, man. That's the end of it. And then I don't know what the hell. I don't know how the movie really ends.
I don't know. I love that you said Sibyl, like, okay, because in my head it was like the voice of the tank from Ghost in the Shell.
The Tachikoma?
I was like, sweet.
Oh, I love it.
It felt like that because like they had a meeting, and it wasn't that long though. It was very short meetings. It was right after the movie, and by the time the movie ends, I kind of thought the movie was supposed to be over like half an hour ago because they do something else. They finish the battle and then it keeps going.
Yeah.
But anyway, she's like,
I
we should
knew it was
resign.
over. Yeah, when that amazing ending started playing. That's like one of my favorite songs. It's what is it? It's like, I don't know the Japanese name, but it's by Egoist, right? That's the band.
Yeah,
Egoi.
Egoist. Yeah.
Egoist. Yeah. Ooh, it's so good. I think it's translated in English like Monster Without a Name or something like that. But it
sounds
so
right.
good. It's the first ending. To say
All right. So,
Final
rating out of 5, guys. Let's start with Michelle.
Are we just doing the movie or the series or what are we doing?
Let's just do that. Let's just straight the movie.
It was really pretty, and stuff. I don't know. I'm gonna give it like a 3.5, which is pretty high for me because you should, if you like the series at all, you should watch the movie. At least you should watch the movie.
Yeah.
But you are gonna want to fast forward some of this shit when you're at home because they have to have some meetings and it just take a long time. She's on that plane for like 10 minutes in the movie, and I'm like, please stop having the same meeting you were having.
There should be like a fan edit of this movie.
Yeah, I was thinking that because it's like
only Akane and Shinya. That's all I need.
Erica's edit.
We can do Erica's edit of
It's like this movie's 10 minutes long, but
Wait,
I
so we
love
are
it.
allowed to spoil things?
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay, so they're not together at the end, of course.
No.
They leave. Okay, so, but all right. So basically, he like, okay,
She was holding this back.
within
She
the
was
first 15 seconds of this movie, or of Akane and Shinya meeting, we have like 3 minutes left. He's like, they're like, hey, back to old times, huh? And then there's like, the Nicholas Wong like busts in or whatever, and Shinny's like, wait, and jumps on her to like shield her with his body, and then it's like they like both. He's like, you should stay the night. I'm really sexy, and then I love that. I was like, yes, now. And so of course she has the bed and he has a cot, and then they both get up and start talking, and she's like, you do have this irresistible quality, which she's talking about his qualities as a leader or whatever, and then he basically is like. When the mercenaries attack, he's like, you just need to get out. That's what he says. Like, no, just kidding. No, Robert McCollum plays Shinya, and I love him as Shinya. It's perfect.
So you're gonna rate this out of 5?
No, I'm gonna rate it overall a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Nice.
Jonathan?
Yeah, not my favorite, but then again, you guys obviously have a lot more investment watching the series. This is someone coming from just watching the movie only. I'm going to have to give it a 3. I mean, a 3 out of 5. Not great voice acting. I didn't obviously was invested in it. A lot of meetings, pretty slow, but great action, cool Dominator guns, a beautiful artwork. Thank you, Funimation,
Great
for
abs.
letting us do lots of abs. Thank you guys for allowing us to do this.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna be the harshest.
Oh no, really?
Oh, surprise!
You may.
Me.
She hands out ones like
So
nothing.
I'm gonna give this movie a 2.5. That 2 is completely based on the fact that Production IG did this animation.
Ah, okay.
The animation is wonderful.
Yes.
I think it has to be a 2.5 because the series was so well written and the movie absolutely failed it. I don't think it's the dubbings, like dub or Japanese. I think this movie had a lot of issues. But if you are a fan, like I've talked to people who were fans and hardcore, and they were like, I love this movie. And I was like, good for you, because I like the series and this movie was so bad.
Yeah, it does go back and cover the same kinds of themes, and you do get so much satisfaction out of seeing Kogami and Akane back together again, and kind of like, by the way, we're gonna have this talk now. And I felt like, I saw the anime series as well. It felt really satisfying. I felt like I was getting closure.
Right? Yeah, you are. Yeah,
I was like, why does the bitches leave? Why?
I know. And then at the end, just FYI, spoiler. They're not together at the end, but I mean, it ends with Herb's kind of saying like he got away again, didn't he? And then he's like, well, she really is a remarkable woman. Oh, and then he's strung up, getting punched by one of the mercenaries, and he basically says like the mercenary says something to him, and I forget what it was, but he was like, it sounded a lot sweeter coming from her. Oh, you're in love. Get married already. I'm done.
Yeah, I feel like
drop.
I feel like I would have rated it higher if Nicholas had been written as well as Makishima, and he just wasn't. Nicholas was
Oh my
fucking
god, we haven't
ridiculous.
talked about Nicholas.
Kid's fucking ridiculous.
Look at the
Nicholas
names.
Nicholas.
Shinya, Kane, Shui, I can't even say that name. And
Yayoi.
then Nicholas.
Nicholas
Hey,
Wong
Nicholas.
from basically Cambodia.
Classic Nicholas.
Let's just go with that.
Oh, Nick.
It doesn't even sound like a name that would come from Southeast Asia.
Well, anyone in the chat have any thoughts or anything before we go? I mean, like, any questions for Erica?
I have been watching chat. We have, obviously, your wife. We have Flavian, sup, and Spanish Heart 18.
Oh, yeah. You going to say anything
no thoughts.
interesting?
So
You got
just saying
nothing?
hi.
No thoughts
Oh, just
tonight.
saying hello. All right.
Saying
All
hi.
right,
We
guys.
like the series.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you guys so much for having me. I had a great time.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, and I just want to thank Funimation again for inviting us to premiere.
Yes.
It's really great that in America,
Yeah.
like, we have, as I'm like 30-ish now, but having lived through a time when I had to go to conventions and buy bootleg VHS tapes that were like $30 or 4 episodes that were not even subtitled correctly, and it was fuzzy, and you'd see like a commercial at the end, but like that we were having theatrical releases for
Premieres.
anime, premieres and movies.
I know, and it was fun, and there was a lot of
insane.
alcohol, which
It's
was
such,
great.
it's
there
such a
was
nice,
wine.
it's such a nice like it's nice to what a time to be alive. Hey,
Yeah,
That's
really
great,
is.
yeah.
What a time
We've
to
come
be
a
alive.
long way.
Yeah,
We've come
and
a
I
long
really
way,
appreciate that
anime.
Funimation especially has really been spearheading that.
Yes.
Of all the anime companies, I don't think anyone's really doing it
No,
except
nobody
for
really has
Funimation.
done anything except Funimation, and I think they've been doing a really great job at kind of doing these events and catering to the anime community because we don't have things like, and like all of us have grown up where we
didn't
did
used to have
have
nice
to search
things.
for stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Funimation.
They make us leave our houses and go to premieres now. So just
no.
Googling in our house.
It's true.
Before there was Google, there was only
So
AOL.
big ups to Justin.
Yes. Yeah, thanks, Justin.
All right,
Thanks,
so
Justin.
that's it for us from this week, and next week we are gonna do.
Little Witch Academia!
Yay!
You can catch the first episode and the kind of the feature length on Netflix if you want to watch before our show. Otherwise, we'll see you next week.
Yep, and as always, you can find me on the internet at Yuma Ninja.
You can find me at KaibaCat.
You can find me at Erica Lindbeck.
You can find me at I Am Chubby Bunny.
All right, thanks, guys. See you again next week.
Yep.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.